Hi there, it's your girl Lisa Nichols here again. A few days ago, I invited you to take some time to reflect and prepare yourself for the next coming year, and actually the best coming year, I'd like to believe. I invited you to join me in 4 powerful practices that you can do to prepare yourself to really make next year really a blow my mind next year. And that's what we want, is a year that blows your own mind. We started with number 1, celebrate your wins. Now, I want you to understand when I give you these things, these are practices. This is not a one-time only. This is a practice. This is what successful people do. You want to have the success that others have, you do the same thing that they're doing. So number 1 was celebrate your wins, where I invited you to make a list of 10 things that you want to celebrate about this past year. What did you do that you're really proud of? Not just big things that people can see, but what are the small, private action steps that can make a big difference when they're consistent over time? I always say people get to macro wins by micro moves. So what are the 10 things you did in this past year that you're really proud of, that you want to celebrate? You have way more than 10. I'm just asking for the top 10. And now we're moving on to number 2. Number 2, the second practice to help next year be the best year ever, is to practice active, keyword, write this down, practice active, underline active, circle active, practice active self-care. That means you're not talking about the spa that you want to go to. You're not talking about the nap that you need to take. You're not talking about the weekend you want to get away to. You're actually doing it. So I want you to take a moment to reflect and identify what rejuvenates you. Now, it's not always something huge, something big, something ginormous, but it's something that allows you to write this down, recalibrate your energy. What keeps your energy in calm? So many times we're working out of anxiety, need, or stress. Stress is the number 1 killer. It's the number 1 robber of life and joy. What do we do actively? What do you do actively that will rejuvenate you? What's available to you? I want you to write down a strategy about how and when you'll make time for self-care during this busy time, during the next year when you're busy. Now, let me just say this. You're going to be dutiful because you're a great student, which is why you're here, and you're going to write some things down. But here's the thing. Will you give yourself permission to actually have self-care? See, I had to remind myself years ago, and then I began to teach my students, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is actually your responsibility to your breathtaking future. You want to blow your mind 6 months from now? You incorporate a self-care regimen now. See, I used to think that if I rest, I was slacking because I was in my hustle. I was developing my hustle muscle. Well, there's a muscle beyond your hustle muscle. And that's your longevity muscle. That's your lifetime transformation muscle. Hustle muscle is the first muscle you develop. But when you do lifetime transformation, generational transformation, then you blend business, hustle with rest, rejuvenation. So I want you to be committed to crafting, designing, and strategically planning how will you be in self-care. Already, my down days for the next year are determined, because if I don't determine them in advance, they won't ever happen. You absolutely must make your self-care a non-negotiable, no matter what. It has to happen. It's time to say no matter what to your health and your wellness. It's time to make your vitality and your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual prosperity a no matter what, non-negotiable decision. Now, it's time to make self-care non-negotiable to get there by stepping fully into your no matter what. And remember, your no matter what is when you slide every other option off the table and you say, I'm not wondering if this will happen. I'm saying it has to happen no matter what. I'm your sister in prosperity and in possibility. I'll see you real soon, and we'll talk about practice number 3 to prepare yourself for your next best year yet.